what was our process in choosing what aspects of the intervention idea to prototype, and how did we decide how to prototype and why?
So we kind of first started with this low fidelity 3D model that kind of encapsulated what we wanted to see out of the app. And then what I liked about that is it was very easy to isolate one variable free from distractions that you get with user design and whatnot. And it let us hone in on what we want to see in our app. And the other thing, it was just kind of fast to build, easy to change, and pretty simple to test with users, even those who aren't competent with computers or phones. And that kind of just gave us that practical aspect of what we wanted to see in our application. And then from there, we kind of had this trial of error in building our app. We started with this very low fidelity model that just kind of had what we wanted to see out of it. And then from there, we started building, well, for the user, what does the user or somebody who wants to use this app see, that gamification aspect to it. And we just kind of went off from there. So for the second question, what limitations does this prototype have? Why did we prioritize this type at this stage?
Yeah, I think after modeling with our physical card version of it, we started to see that language was important in the prompts that they were interacting with, as well as the types of resources and activities that we were suggesting that they do based on their response. And so recognizing that early on was super critical in modeling the application. And the major limitation was just volume of users to test. What were the things that were more upsetting? If the font was easy to read and we recognized that we shouldn't have been using serif, we should have used sans serif, or there were spelling mistakes on our homepage. And so having a low fidelity model like our first prototype was limited in a sense that it just kind of spit out like all the words. It was super wordy, super jumbled. But after our user testing experience, we were able to see that it was malleable enough to change. It wasn't hard to fix. The feedback was able to be implemented easily. And we prioritized this type, moving away from our physical card game situation, because this was more real world, more accessible, easier to explain to people. And the look and feel made all the difference. And we learned that pretty quickly. And it continued this process of feedback, implementation, testing, feedback, implementation, testing. And it just made that whole system super easy, super streamlined by having it online, on a web interface with an AI.
Right.
Now our last question is, what is the specific value or experience this prototype designed to create for users? What were they getting out of this?
So the first thing is that kind of psychological safety, where users feel more comfortable sharing or being honest because it's not a real person, it's an AI. And I think for me that kind of goes back to our values and what we wanted to see, in our how might we question, and I think it's our themes. We want that sense of safety where people can share their thoughts and opinions about what they believe without feeling attacked or without feeling like they have to break a relationship or damage a relationship.
Or be under a microscope.
Yeah. And the other thing is kind of a low stakes environment. So it kind of takes away that pressure that you get with debating, the feeling you have to hold to your values, you have to find justification, kind of like you're under a microscope. This model kind of reduces it. You can be as detailed as you want. You can kind of keep it loose, statements. It doesn't, essentially it just doesn't judge you. It just tries to find ways for you to improve.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we valued with it was the self-reflection aspect. So users are kind of prompted to consider other perspectives or reframe ideas without that confrontational aspect to it. And we took that a step further with our journaling aspect, where we even gave the option for them to go further in and do this kind of like meta reflection of themselves in order to help them, kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah, especially how it maximizes those who are already willing to challenge their beliefs, and then it allows those who are not to have an easy entrance into this whole system
Right.
of reframing.